Okay, so you didn't get the job. You are replaying every single interview you went on for this particular opportunity, and you're trying to figure out where you missed the mark. This video is for you. I'm not going to sugarcoat a whole lot. I am going to present to you from the perspective of someone on the other side of the hiring table. Remember, I've been on both. It's not always about your qualifications. It's not always about your degree. Um, Sometimes it's risk aversion, especially in a tough market, right? Sometimes it's an alignment issue. Sometimes it's timing, right? Sheer timing. So let's talk about the real reason you didn't get the job offer. Really love talking about this topic for multiple reasons. So I'll even tell you about a time when, and we'll get to that at the end. So I'll give you four potential reasons. It could be things outside of that, right? I mean, let's be honest. Some people will not get the job because they interviewed horribly. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable to go through the interview process with some folks, not just because they're nervous or not prepared, but like just downright not okay. And so let's get into four reasons why you potentially did not get the job. Number four, I'm going to tell you my personal story with this one. So, number one, there's an internal candidate or a strong referral that was the safer hire. The safer hire is not always the best hire. It's usually the more cost-effective hire. So when we have internal candidates, and I'm again, this is me having been around a few times for more than a few years. Um, if there's an internal candidate, they may or may not start at the top of the list. I have worked on some requisitions or some job postings where we've had several internal candidates apply, and it doesn't mean that they made it to the top of the list at all. As a matter of fact, some of them are pretty far on the bottom of the list because of performance, because, you know, we, leadership management, we've all had insight into how this person performs. Is that not the craziest thing? How am I like, we're just going to roll with it? So the blinds are actually closed, but the sun is going to do what the sun does, and it's all good. We're grateful. Sometimes they've just done such a horrible job, and maybe their goal is to get from where they are. But the, yeah, the internal candidate is not always the one selected. That's my point. Um, but there are some really strong internal candidates that someone from the outside just could not, they can't compete with in certain markets. So there was a time when I got an opportunity, and y'all are gonna like think this is it's like wow, an opportunity from Indeed, the platform many of you go hate. I understand why you dislike it, but there is some value in it as long as you have the patience and you are you're listening to your gut, right? And so you are going to sift through the nonsense. You're going to do your due diligence, all that fun stuff. But we can get to that another day. We can talk about platforms and all that another day. Um, there was a time when I competed as an external with internals who'd been with the organization for years. Um, but what the team decided was that they wanted a fresh perspective. And so all things considered, the outside perspective makes a difference. Do you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes that's necessary. Other times in a market that's like, y'all, we might have to freeze hiring type market. You want to go with the safe hire. You want to go with the sure thing, the person who's been with the organization, knows the ins and outs, doesn't require much to get ramped up. Maybe they've been shadowing the person in the role that they're replacing. Like there are safe hires that cost less money. And then there are safe referrals. So if this person who's vacating the position did an amazing job, and maybe they're just leaving because they're relocating or they got a promotion to another team, whatever it is, and they strongly recommend someone who on paper is great and who interviewed like 10 out of 10, that's a safer hire than you, even if both of you were qualified, right? That hire is a safer hire. The likelihood of that individual joining the organization and staying, right? Because hires cost money, turnover costs money, right? Replacing someone costs money. The likelihood of that person joining and staying is higher. And so they want to go with higher, the safer hire. I heard it, y'all, whatever. Higher and higher, it's good. So the safe hire. Not always the best hire, but usually the more cost-effective hire. In a tight market, that is high on the list, right? Second one, fit, not capability. So, and I get this a lot. And I see it a lot on social media platforms. Christina, I didn't get the job because, um, or Christina, I should have gotten the job. I hate when I gotta start leaning in that much. But then we have the sun, the beautiful sun. Christina, I should have gotten the job. I have a master's. Christina, I should have gotten the job. I have 20 years of experience in the business. And I'm like, what did the position require? 20 years and a master's? Okay. You think you're the only one with 20 years of experience and a master's? I'll wait. And I don't mean it to be sassy, but I think some of us need a bit of a reality check, right? Like you are not the only one with the I'm gonna eat some chocolate. You are not the only one with the required amount of experience, the required education, who interviews well. You are not the only one. And so we're sometimes just going to have to hire for fit, not just experience, not just performance during the interview, but someone we think would be a better fit for the team, the organization, the culture, whatever. And that's a whole other discussion when we start talking about hiring for culture fit. Ah, yeah, we'll get into that another day. Um, so why did I do that? And I'm filming. Um, so just know you're probably not the only one qualified for the position, education, degree, all that. Um, Number three, you might be too senior or maybe misaligned. So I see these posts on social media as well. So a lot of the stuff I'm pulling from what I've seen, but also, and I'm not even going to edit it out. I'm just not going to do it. This is me, unfiltered. So you might be too senior for the position. I've seen where people post, I can't even get a job at blank. I even applied for a customer service rep. The market is so bad, nobody is hiring. I couldn't even get a job as a customer service rep. What did that position call for? Was it 1 to 2 years of customer service experience and you have 30 or you have 15? Was it, high school diploma and you're walking around with a PhD? Hey, it's not aligned. You are too senior for the position. Hiring costs money, turnover costs money. The likelihood of an organization hiring someone so senior for an entry level position, like why? Why? Because you need a job? No. Why would they hire you for that position when they can hire someone with 1 to 2 years of customer service experience who might actually want this job. This might be the next step in their career. This position might be aligned with their career goals, right? Like there is a match made in heaven when we get someone in that 1 to 2 years. So don't assume that you should have gotten the job that you interviewed for. Listen, not for nothing. I don't know why you would have interviewed for that position. I don't know why you would have been selected to interview for that position, but things happen. Okay, things happen. So you didn't get the job because you're just too senior. And that's not always, I'm not talking age, y'all, but that's not always an easy pill to swallow. Look for a role that's actually aligned with your skills, your experience, your strengths, what you want to do next in your career, and put your energy in pursuing that. The likelihood of you getting that is greater. Well, not always going to happen, of course, but it's greater when that alignment exists. So I think 3 would be too senior or misaligned. Number 4, personal story here. I have an employer, a past employer that was my favorite employer. I've talked about it more than a handful of times in my professional career, my professional life, and even in my personal life. And it's so funny. I've met people who worked for the same employer, and we're all saying the same thing. Like it was truly a great place to work. That particular job, I was not hired for that job when I interviewed. True story. I was not the selected candidate. I was option B, and I didn't know that initially. I just knew I was being declined for the position. And I was like, man, I made it through every round of the interview process and I didn't get the job. And at the time, I didn't know it was such a great place to work. I didn't. I just knew the job sounded interesting. I knew I could do it. I also knew the people I interviewed with were fantastic. Um, and I didn't get it. And my heart was a little broken for a second. And what happened was uh, I eventually got a phone call from the leader to offer me the position. Um, on the other side of it, so after I joined the team, we had a very open conversation. And for years, we had a very, um, I mean, people talk about open door policy, but I could absolutely go tell this person anything and trust that her response was authentic. Um, Her response was in my best interest, right? Like it's not often that you find that. Um, but if you're in a position where you haven't found that yet, keep going. It's just it, because I think it exists for everyone. We later had a conversation and I understood the mechanics behind uh, the first decision that was made. I understood the logistics, thought process, and having that level of insight, like you didn't get it, like this person that we offered the position to initially said yes. And this is crazy. Initially said yes. I think um, she was a referral, and then she opted out. And she knew me. So, my gosh, we talk about networking. We talk about networking. We talk about, yeah, go back and watch my other videos on networking. I will do my best to link it somewhere um, or in the description. But she knew me and um, she knew I was in consideration or had been for the opportunity. And I got the job. So initially it was a no, and then it was a yes. And I stayed with that organization 4 years. So, number 4, not right now is not never. What is the saying? Delay is not denial. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Delay is not denial. So maybe you did exceptionally well, and maybe the answer is not now. Now, maybe they didn't communicate that because they can't make any promises and they don't want you ringing their phone off the hook every 3 to 4 weeks, right? But maybe it's not now. Maybe it's, I think this person would be a great fit if we end up opening a position for fill in the blank. Maybe not now, but when budget permits, when, budget constraints are lifted, when hiring freezes are lifted, whatever it is, they would really be a good fit for that. And so then we go have a conversation with the recruiter, with the sourcer, whoever's on team, and we're like, yeah, you know, gold star this person, shortlist this person for this type of role in the future. If you've got a good applicant tracking system, like it'll help you do that. Um, but like this is someone we're going to consider, just not right now. And so, and those are just four. There could be other reasons that you didn't get the offer. My point is, I don't want you to beat yourself up. I don't want you to assume it's because you performed less than stellar during the interview process. I don't want you to assume it's, well, if I just had this degree or if I just had that degree, then I would have gotten the job. Maybe, right? I mean, maybe you don't know. And then unless you end up with someone like I ended up having that very open conversation around what happened, and this was after I was hired, by the way, then you may not ever know. Stay focused on the goal. Stay focused on your action plan. If you need one, put some time on my calendar. Um, I'll drop the link below for a clarity session, but stay focused and keep moving forward. You're going to feel what you feel. Listen, I, last story. I interviewed for a position. Gosh, I don't know how many years ago this was. I wish I could tell you. Um, I wish I could tell you. Um, it was a big deal. And when I tell you it was a big deal, I went through so many rounds of interviews. It was sick, sick. Um, like that for me wasn't like, are y'all serious? Again, I have to meet with like, who am I reporting to? Have I been with them yet? Seriously. We can talk about that another day. Like, I do not love long, drawn out interview processes. Who am I reporting to? Who do they report to? I might want to meet them. I may want to meet the team. Like when we hit interview number 7, I tap out. Like I tap out. Why? Why has a decision not been made after interview number 3? After like how many people need to chime in here for not a people leader position, right? Like, so anyway, okay, I have thoughts about that. I have thoughts about that. Um, but yeah, I went pretty far with them, and then I ended up not getting it. And I ended up not getting it, they said, which they didn't have to tell me, but they said it was because they went with an internal candidate. It was between me and an internal. Talk about a safer hire. And my heart was kind of broken. Um, it was kind of broken, but I'm like, okay, that wasn't the opportunity for me. But let me just give you a tip before I let you go. My goodness, I'm giving a lot away here. Quick tip. If you want the job, even if you don't get it, stay in contact with the recruiter. If they impressed you to the point where you're like, I would love to work there, like I would love to, stay in touch with them, right? You just never know. You never know when something becomes available and you're front of mind because you stayed in touch. You checked in on the team, enjoyed meeting you. And I'm not talking about every 6 weeks. Mm-mm. Let's put some space in there. Happy holiday message to you and the team. Hope all is well. Something along those lines. Stay in touch. All right, all right, all right, all right. That's enough. That's enough. Uh, I will drop the link to the interview confidence kit below. I love it. I love the art of the interview. You'll hear me talk about it often on this platform. Um, I absolutely love it. So I'll drop that for you to grab. I'll drop the link for the clarity session if you want a tailored action plan. If this resonates with you, my hope is that you like, my hope is that you share. And if you're on YouTube, my hope is that you subscribe. On any other channel, go ahead and hit that follow button. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.